Linear Equations, Part 8. In this lesson, students will write linear equations when given 2 points on a line. When given what? 2 points on a line. Very good. Now, when you're given 2 points on a line, you can find the what? You can find the slope. Very good. So how do you find the slope? You have to remember the slope formula song, okay? So let's sing that. Make sure we remember that. Everybody, you can sit down. It's okay. It's Friday. I'm tired too. Okay, so go ahead and do this with me. Say, slope. I'm waiting. Okay, say, slope, slope. Change in y at the top, change in x bottom. Very good. One more time, just in case you forgot. How could you forget? Ready? It's slope, slope. Change in y at the top, change in x bottom. And when we're talking about change, we're talking about subtracting. Okay, so we're going to take a look at number 1. It says, read it with me. Let's go. Joshua. Okay, it says, what is the equation of a line that passes through? And you have 2 points. You have 2, 5, and -4, -4. Okay, and I have labeled these points for you. This is the first point. I want you to write x1, y1, and the second point would be x2, y2. So if you're trying to find, or you're trying to write an equation, you have to find the slope because it's not given to you. So we take a look, underline please the y coordinates. We say slope equals, and slope is your mama, right? It's m. We say, well, y2 is -4 minus y1 is 5. Divided by, what's x2? It's -4. And x1 is -2. Very good. Okay, so let's think about it. Let's find the fraction that slope is. We have -4 and -5. We have 2 negatives, right? They're the same. Same signs, add and keep. So it's -4 and -5. So 4 plus 5 is 9, but keep the negative because it's negative, negative, negative. We have -9 divided by, again, we have a -4 and a -2. What does that make when you add them? Negative what? -6. Okay, now this slope, -9 over -6 is a fraction, right? It is. Could it be simplified? Do you remember how to simplify? You could divide both 9 and 6 by what number? What could you divide by? Could you divide by 3? Yes, you could. So if you divided by 3, you would get -3 over -2. Okay, so -3 over -2 is the slope, or it could be +3 over +2. Okay, so that is what the slope is. Are we good? Everybody got that? Okay, so that's the slope. Now what we're going to do is we're going to use what we found for slope, and we're going to find the equation for the line. So first of all, let's plug in the slope. Let's use the +3 over 2. So remember, yo mama's ex-boyfriend. So let's go ahead and just write y equals mx plus b. Okay, and the slope is what letter? The slope is m. So let's plug in the slope. The slope usually I put as red. Okay, so we say y equals, the slope is, what is it? What is it? 3 over 2. Okay, that's the rise over run. 3 over 2x plus b. All right, very good. The next step, you know, is to plug, read it with me, plug in x and y. Now, which x and y are you going to choose? I am telling you to choose the first point. Which point? The first point, okay. Why am I telling you to choose the first point? I'm telling you to choose the first point because look at the x value. The x value is 2, okay? You want the x value to match the bottom of the fraction. You want the what? The x value to match the bottom of the fraction. What do I mean by that? Is this 2? Is it? Yes. Is the denominator of this fraction 2? Is it? Yes. So because they match, they're going to go ahead and cancel out, okay? But I'm just thinking ahead. Here we go. So here's the first point. What is y? It is 5. So you say 5 equals 3 over 2 times, remember, you're going to multiply it at the top. And what is x? I just told you like a million times. It's 2. Now you're going to add b. Great. So when we're at the point where we can do step number 4, which is solve for b. What is it? Solve for b. You can say, all right, well, 5 equals, and then you have 3 divided by 2 times 2. So because there is the same number at the top of this fraction that's being multiplied by the bottom, you can what we call cross cancel, which means 2 divided by 2 is 1. And what is left, my friends? What's left? 3. Very good. So we say 5 equals 3 plus b, and now we can solve for b by doing what? We make a T-bone steak. What is the opposite of positive 3? Negative 3. Subtract 3 from both sides. Positive 3 and negative 3 make 0. Bring down the b, and b will equal 5 take away 3. What's 5 take away 3, America? America? That's right, it's 2. Very good. So b is 2. All right. Now the last step is to plug in b and m. Okay? Well, before we graph. Okay? Plug in b and m. And we use yo mama's ex-boyfriend. And I'm telling you, you're going to plug in b and m. So we're going to underline m, circle b. That's how we remember, right? What is the slope that we found? Do you remember what it was? The slope that we found is 3 over 2. Then we leave the x because it's being multiplied by x. And what is the b that we just found? We found that b is 2. Very good. All right? So make sure all of this is written down. And now we're going to graph. Okay, so we've identified the slope. The slope is what? 3 over 2 or negative 3 over negative 2. But we're going to start with your mama's boyfriend. And here the boyfriend is, what's the y-intercept? The y-intercept is 2. Very good. So we're going to go ahead and start at 2 on the y-axis. Everyone show me the y-axis with your arms. This is the y-axis. It goes up and down. We're going to find 2. Okay? So you put a dot on 2. And then from this point, you're going to go up 3. 1, 2, 3. Over in the positive direction 2. 1, 2. But then you have to go back to the boyfriend, because mama always goes back. And you have to find the other slope, which is negative 3 over negative 2. So now we're going to go down 3. 1, 2, 3. And we're going to go over in the negative direction. Negative to the left. Very good. We're going to go down, over 2. Make sure you have these 3 points. Okay? And then you can connect the points to make a line. There we go. Let's do another example. Let's do example 2. Read it with me. What is the equation of a line that passes through 4, negative 1, and 0, 2? The first step, which is different than what we've been doing before, is we actually have to find the slope. How do you find the slope? Everybody stand up. Stand up. Jacob, seriously. Okay, here we go. This is the slope formula song, and it goes like this. Slope, slope, change in y at the top, change in x bottom. Very good. Let's try it one more time just to really sink it in. Here we go. Say slope, slope, change in y at the top, change in x bottom. Love it, live it, and love it. Okay, here we go. So when we find the slope, we find the change in y. Please underline the y values. Did you mark x1, y1, and x2, y2? Do that now. Do it. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to find the change in y at the top now. So what is y2? y2, again, slope is y2 minus y1. So we say 2 minus a negative 1. divided by, what is x2? It is 0 minus 4. Very good. So let's go ahead and talk about this. When you are finding this fraction, negative and a negative, negative times negative make positive. There you go. So what is 2 plus 1? It is 3. And 0, take away 4. You're at 0, you go in the negative direction 4. So you're at negative 4. Very good. So 4 is at the bottom. Now because this is slope, you could have 3 over negative 4 or negative 3 over 4. Is there one negative here? Yes. Is there one negative here? Yes. So these are your two options for slope. Okay, so now let's write the equation for this line. We found the slope. Let's go ahead and look at step number 2. Plug in slope. All right, so we remember yo mama's ex-boyfriend. What's the equation? Y equals mx plus b, and we're going to go ahead and plug in slope. The slope is negative 3/4, so we're going to say y equals negative 3 over 4x plus b. Very nice. The next step is step number 3. Read it with me. Plug in x and y. All right, which point are you going to choose? The first point. And why is that? Because look at the x value. The x value is 4. Is that the same as the bottom of the fraction? Yes, so that's the one that you want to choose. Okay, so you're going to say, all right, I know that negative 1 equals, I'm going to make the slope in red, negative 3/4 times 4 plus b. Very, very good. So when we solve for b, which is the 4th step, we're going to say negative 1 equals. Is there a 4 at the top of the fraction and the bottom of the fraction? They're being multiplied. What do you do with those numbers? You cross them out because it's 4 divided by 4, which is 1. You're left with negative 3. Very good. Plus b. All right. So now you can solve for b. And you're going to make a T-bone steak. What's the opposite of negative 3? Positive 3. Negative 3 and positive 3 makes 0. Bring down the b, and b is going to equal 3 minus 1. 3 take away 1, which is 2. Beautiful. So b is 2. You can get to the last step, which is plug in b and m. What is it? Plug in b and m. So we'll say, okay, if y equals mx plus b, then m and b I need to put into the equation to graph my line. So y equals, m is 3 over negative 4, or negative 3/4, x, and then b is 2, so we're going to add 2. So that is your equation. The equation is y equals 3 over negative 4, x plus, what's b? B was 2, okay? All right, so we know the slope is negative 3/4, and we know that b, or the y-intercept, is 2. So you're going to start with your boyfriend, your mom's boyfriend. So when we graph this, you're going to start at 2 on the y-axis. Which axis? The y-axis. And you are either going to do two things, okay? You're either going to go up 3 in the negative direction 4. Let's do that one first. We're going to go up 3. 1, 2, 3. And in the negative direction 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? Should be at negative 4, 5. Okay? Or we're going to go down 3 and over 4. So let's go down 3. 1, 2, 3. And over 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that should be at 4, negative 1. You all have those points? Beautiful. And because this is negative slope, right, negative 3/4, the line is going down. Okay? And that is how you graph a linear equation and write a linear equation when given 2 points. See you Monday.